Welcome to the Coinwahh podcast. My name is Kumagat90. I am one of your hosts, and next to me I have.
Captain Steel, and I'm the other host.
Before we get started, let's go over what we're going through today. Today we'll be going through not only the new candidates for the next regency, but also some interesting things that have been happening around the city itself. Anything you want to
Sounds
add,
like a
Captain
good
Steel?
idea. That sounds pretty entertaining to me. But enough talk about us. How about we talk about our guest today?
Yes, and
Take it
our guest
away.
today is one of the men running for regency. It's Neon Mustache himself. Welcome, Neon Mustache.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Now, where should we get started, Captain Steel?
That's a good question. Let me pull out my book of questions here. So, Mr. Neon Mustache, I see you've already ran for Regency before, have you?
Indeed, I have, Captain Steele. That's
Well,
correct.
well, with an impressive record like yours, would you care to explain some of the things you've done for our viewers as the one of the first regents?
One of the first regents, yes, that's correct. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that, Captain Steele.
Of course, of
Yes,
course.
it's true that I was our nation's first regent, and one of the most prominent things, as most can see if they go and visit the Hall of Regents, is that I introduced the first book of law. It is something that has brought great stability to our kingdom, and I think that others have seen it just the same as well. That is the biggest improvement I think that I have ever accomplished. I've also built a Coliseum. I'm sure that many of you have seen it passing on the way to obtain some XP at any given time. It is a place where anyone who is feel like they are a little bit on the itchy side for war can express themselves in a creative manner, so to speak.
Hmm, okay, sounds like a neat idea. Don't you
I've
think so,
also
Neil?
introduced, oh, my apologies, didn't mean to interrupt you there,
No,
but
you're fine.
I'm just so excited to be here. I've also introduced the banking system to our great 4KD with the help of you as well, Captain Steele. We both worked on that, and I know that you worked tirelessly at minting money and coin for that.
Oh, I appreciate it, but tell us more about this banking. This banking. Do you?
Uh,
I know some of the people are a little wary about the bank system right now. Could you maybe give us a little insight on what you plan on doing?
Well, their concerns are valid, unfortunately, Captain Steele. I know that our faithful Daily Bulge has reported just recently on the crisis that we're experiencing with the daily banking system, mostly because there is not really one that is functioning. We have mint, we have currency, we even have a bank that you can go to in person to withdraw, deposit coin, and to encourage trade, but unfortunately there is a lack thereof, and I won't place the blame on any given person, but as a whole nation, it seems, Captain Steele and Gumaga, that our people have a lack of communication and cooperation. There is no dedication, my friends, to actually working together as one. And
Hmm.
so we've completely neglected our banking system. Um, for example, if someone were in need of a stack of 64 smooth stone, which can be very tasking to obtain if you don't have the proper equipment, and you just don't feel up to it. But you could make the trade for, say, 10 doubloons if you had someone that was willing to trade. But unfortunately, many people will just say, well, I don't want to pay the gold, I'm just going to go ahead and get it myself. And no trade happens at all. I'm sad to say that in our time with the banking system in place, we've only seen about two or three withdrawals at the most.
Hmm. Okay.
So I guess the question I think we're all thinking here is
hmm
maybe you want to give us a little insight into what your first term would, or your second term, I guess, but what your term would look like if you were elected as regent, and what you have entailed for the, I guess, reason and or help me out here.
I
Let's
think
see.
you're just trying to say a roadmap,
Yeah, give
so
us
to
a
A
speak,
roadmap,
of
but
roadmap.
the more important question
what
is
you
how
plan on
would you
doing.
encourage? That's the word I was looking for. Encourage. how would you encourage people to use said money? What does that look like in your regency?
Good question, Gumiga.
That's a great question, Goomagan90. I must admit, and I know that there are plenty of others that are running that are looking to find other ways to encourage people to use their currency. And the truth of the matter is that I would hopefully be able to spur the people, because if we're looking at this from a human reactive standpoint and how we function, that with the way things have looked like in the past, unfortunately, we have long hiatuses, which we understand is a regular thing around here. Not only do we have long hiatuses, but during that time we forget about certain laws, certain things that maybe we just have in our minds that are like a rule of standpoint for trading and things like that. But we don't have, as I said before, commitment to see these things through. And that comes down not to anything that I think that you could force somebody to do, but only encourage. There are plenty of things that you can tell someone, hey, you need to do this to trade, you need to do that to trade, whether it's an enforced rule or just a suggestion. But it really comes down to sure self preservation and dedication to this uh, use of our time and our effort and our even our coin to actually do stuff. I would hope that I would be able to encourage the people enough. I know that words can only take one so far, and I think that as we look into the Regency, I can't give you a very clear um, look into what sort of things that I would do in order to spur the people other than through words just at this moment. But it really does come down to it starts in their hearts. It starts in that it's just a mind thing, I think, right now. There's just the idea of it, but the ideal to do it is what they're lacking. They don't see a true good purpose in trading. What's the benefit of it? And I hope to explore that more if I'm elected as regent, as I'll also be consulting one of the things that I will be introducing. I know that we had a vice regency. Of course, that had its implications and it didn't really work out, I think, in the long run. I'm sure our regent could agree if you asked him that question. But I would be introducing at least one cabinet member that would stand by, and they would have no ruling power whatsoever. They would have no decision-making power. All that they would be there for is just someone to bounce ideas off of. And that way, it's not just one person making all of the decisions as we have a regent, and that's just the way it's been looked upon. I think having someone else that I can bounce ideas off who is of the public, someone each and every single week that I can bring in, and it wouldn't be one solid cabinet member. It would be multiple different people that I would bring in for that week and just say, what are some things that we could do? What's on your mind? Not just trying to think what's on their mind. Get to know the people, truly be involved in the community.
If I may, Mr. Neon Mustache, and before
Absolutely,
I
yes,
ask
of
my
course.
question, I need to remind you we are on a tight schedule, so let's try and keep. Although I'm loving the answers you're giving me, please try and keep them a lot shorter than you have been. Thank you. Anyway, my
Okay.
question would be, what would be said name and said use of such a position in your cabinet?
What would be the name?
Yeah, what would you call this cabinet member? How would they be put in office? Would it be elected by the people as well, or would it be like you just appoint them? And then what would be all of their
Well,
uses?
as I said afterward, it would
Great
be
question.
different people at any given time that I would need for that position. Anyone who'd really be, it's on a volunteer basis for that. Whenever I needed a call up to ask, like, hey, we need to talk about some things, see, just to gauge the temperature of the 4KD
So you said you would call
society as a
upon
whole.
them. Is that correct?
I would send out a consensus. Most likely, I would ask whether through the Discord channel that we have or in mailboxes, asking for someone to volunteer for that week. And whoever came to me first would be the advisee for that particular instance, whatever I
So
would need to
so
call upon
if
them for.
I'm correct, in other words, it's not really a cabinet position. It's more of a just like a census you send out to your citizens.
I guess that's a better word. Yes, yes, consensus.
All right. So it's not an actual position you're creating. It's literally just you asking the people what they want.
It's basically a survey.
Yeah, that's
Well,
that's
I
that's
don't
what it
like to
seems
make the
like.
people think. I don't like the people to think like they have no importance in this kingdom. So I think sometimes people think that since they don't win or if they lose something, that they are not as valued. I want everyone to see that their role is important, and to give it a name, I think, is important.
Okay, thank you. Next
I have
question.
a
Go ahead.
question,
Go ahead.
if you
Ooh.
don't mind. This is just a short question. What do you plan to do with the legal immigration that we've had a couple times? Like, for
Hmm.
example, with
Excellent question.
Mr. Firefly and his indentured servant, aka slave, aka paid man, so to speak. What do you plan to do with people that do things such as this?
Well, as far as I'm aware, there is nothing written into executive order or into the Constitution that therefore allows anyone to hold a slave at this given time. So, the only thing that you can, if you're going to be a part of the 4KD, you need to be a member, a citizen of the 4KD. I don't believe that anyone should be able to have uh, the right to hold anybody against their will unless it's written into law, of course.
Alright, I like it. Mr. Gummiga, got any other questions?
Um, not at the current moment, but Neon Mustache. So I guess I could heal me fill some airtime. If you could also expand upon, um, maybe give us a glimpse at what your first 100 days would look like as Regent. Seeing as
First
how terms are
100
300
days.
days. Yes, what would your
Good
first
question.
100, your
Excellent
first
question.
third of your term, what would
Top
that look like?
tier
Try and
question.
give me like
Well,
a 30-second to a minute answer, if you wouldn't mind.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, without trying to give away too much, of course,
Of
I
course.
don't want to spoil the whole thing for everybody. I want
That's
everyone to be
right.
excited. But I will say this, that, as one who uh, wrote the Constitution, and we all mended it together, of course, I would seek within those 100 days immediately to begin a revising slash amending of our Constitution. I just think that it's not as watertight as it could be. And I think that every single
Hmm.
member would agree upon that. I think there's too many loopholes that people can find their ways through, and we need to patch those things up. Another thing that I would be doing is declaring war once again on the Creepers.
War,
I
you
am
say? Oh.
I see them as a terrorist organization that seeks to destroy the good people's builds of this 4KD, and I would want to put a stop to it. I would hopefully be able to give an incentive system for those that kill creepers. Perhaps if you bring me 10 heads of a zombie, then, or not zombies, of creepers, then I may reward you with gold or silver. I won't tell you quite yet. Uh, Another thing that I would hope to enact is that I've seen a lot of warmongering going on in this great D. Hopefully, we could figure out a way maybe to limit that. Is all I'll say to that.
Hmm.
So, just
Such
a
an
brief
interesting, that's a
snapshot.
great idea. Well, it's definitely not, of course, providing that it is not infringing upon people's rights. Of
Of
course, I
course,
would
of
think that would
course,
be a
of
great
course, of
idea.
course, of course, of course, of course. And one other thing, this will be the last thing that I'll say, is that I think that some of our government buildings are in need of, um, how should I put it? Renovation.
Hmm.
Renovation, you say?
Could you
And
cite
why do you think
specific?
the
Uh,
buildings
uh,
or
I think that
more
that'll
specific?
will tickle your fancy just enough. It'll whet your appetite. You'll have to wait and see.
Huh. Okay. Well, I have no further questions. Give me go.
I don't think I have very many as well.
Well, we can cue the intro or the outro, I should say. And Mr. Neon Mustache, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me, Captain Steele, and thank you for also having me, Gumiga.
Of course. Well, this has been the Coinwahh podcast. I'm your host, Gumigai90, and I'm partnered with,
Captain Steel.
and this has been the Coinwahh podcast.